He made the perfect latte art every morning, his hands steady and precise. But when the cup slipped and his sleeve rolled up, the young Marine veteran sitting at table 3 saw something that made his blood run cold, a distinctive scar pattern across his knuckles that only came from one thing: defusing IEDs under fire. What happened next would change both their lives forever, but first, you need to know why Marcus was hiding the most dangerous secret in that quiet coffee shop. Welcome to the Human Stories. Before we begin this story that will leave you questioning everyone you pass by on the street, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe the most incredible heroes hide in plain sight, hit that subscribe button. The downtown coffee house seemed ordinary. Too ordinary. And that should have been the first warning sign. Marcus Reeves worked the morning shift 6 days a week. Same routine, same silence, same long sleeves, even in summer. Customers thought he was just antisocial. They had no idea he was hiding something that would terrify them if they knew the truth. But Jake Morrison was different. 3 tours in Afghanistan had taught him to notice things others missed. What he noticed about Marcus made his skin crawl, not because it was obvious, but because it wasn't. The way Marcus's eyes swept the room every few minutes, the way he positioned himself near the back exit, the way his hands never shook, even during the morning rush. These weren't the habits of a barista. These were the survival instincts of someone who'd lived through hell. For weeks, Jake watched, waited, studied the man behind the counter who seemed to carry invisible weight, but he never imagined what Marcus was really hiding. Not until that Tuesday morning when everything went wrong. Jake had ordered his usual medium latte, extra shot. Simple, routine. But as Marcus reached across the counter, his sleeve caught on the register. For just 2 seconds, maybe 3, Jake saw what Marcus had spent 3 years desperately concealing. Scars. Not just any scars. A specific pattern burned into flesh, the unmistakable signature of an IED blast at close range. Jake's training kicked in immediately. He'd seen those exact marks before, on the arms of explosive ordnance disposal specialists who'd gotten too close to the wrong wire. "Jesus," Jake whispered, the word escaping before he could stop it. Marcus froze. The coffee shop noise faded into background static. 2 veterans, 2 different wars, suddenly recognizing each other across a battlefield neither wanted to revisit. "How did you know?" Marcus asked, his voice barely audible. But Jake wasn't ready for Marcus's answer, because what came next would reveal a truth so devastating, so heroic, and so tragic that it would haunt every customer in that coffee shop if they ever learned what really happened in Kabul. "EOD?" Jake asked, though he already knew. Marcus nodded once. "Explosive Ordnance Disposal. 2017 முதல் 2020. How many saves?" The question hung between them like smoke from a distant explosion. Marcus had never told anyone, not his family, not the VA counselors, not even himself on the nights when he couldn't sleep. Officially, 118 confirmed disarmaments. Jake's face went pale. That number was impossible, extraordinary, legendary. Unofficially, Marcus looked away. "I stopped counting at 200. What Jake didn't know yet, what no one in that coffee shop knew, was that Marcus held the unofficial record for most IEDs neutralized by a single operative in modern warfare. The man making their morning latte had single-handedly prevented more terrorist attacks than any soldier in his generation. But that wasn't the secret that was destroying him. "What was your last call?" Jake pressed, sensing there was more. And that's when Marcus told him about August 26, 2021. Kabul airport, the evacuation, the children. The bomb was under a school bus. 43 kids, ages 6 to 12. Local construction, sophisticated trigger. Marcus had 90 seconds before the timer reached 0. The blast radius would take out the bus, the nearby medical tent, and half the evacuation checkpoint. "I had to choose," Marcus said, his voice cracking for the first time. "Red wire would save the children, but—" He stopped, unable to continue. "But what?" "But it would trigger the secondary device, the one we didn't know about until it was too late." Jake felt sick. "Secondary device?" "Under the medical tent, where my team was working." The coffee shop fell silent around them, though neither man noticed. Marcus was back in Kabul, reliving the worst 90 seconds of his life. I cut the red wire, saved 43 children, lost 4 of my brothers. And there it was, the secret that was eating Marcus alive. He'd made the right choice, the only choice any decent human being could make. But it didn't stop the guilt from consuming him. They died because I chose those kids, Marcus whispered. They died because they were soldiers, Jake corrected, and those kids lived because you were a hero. But Marcus shook his head. Heroes don't survive when their team doesn't. What happened next would take 3 months to unfold, but it started with Jake making a decision that would save Marcus's life, just like Marcus had saved those 43 children in Kabul. Jake didn't leave the coffee shop that morning. He didn't go to class. Instead, he sat with a broken war hero and began the slow process of defusing the emotional bomb that was tearing Marcus apart from the inside. "You want to know something?" Jake said after an hour of silence. "Those 4 soldiers, they made their choice too. They knew the risks. They chose to serve beside you because they believed in the mission. You think they'd want you making coffee for the rest of your life, punishing yourself for saving children." It took weeks, but slowly, Marcus began to heal. Jake introduced him to other veterans, got him real help, convinced him to apply for a position at the VA hospital, counseling other soldiers dealing with survivors' guilt. A year later, Marcus was running trauma therapy sessions for combat veterans. His scars weren't hidden anymore. They were proof that survival was possible, that guilt could be transformed into purpose. And Jake? He became a teacher, but not of engineering. He taught a course called Hidden Heroes at the local community college, helping students recognize that the most extraordinary people often live the most ordinary-seeming lives. The last time Jake visited that coffee shop, there was a new barista behind the counter. Young kid, college age, making decent coffee but nothing special. The magic Marcus brought to that place, the precision, the care, the hidden strength, was gone. But it wasn't lost. It was just being used where it belonged, saving lives instead of making lattes. Marcus's story teaches us something crucial. The person serving your coffee, cleaning your office, bagging your groceries, they might be carrying secrets that would astonish you. Heroism doesn't announce itself. It hides in plain sight, waiting for someone brave enough to really see it. So here's my challenge to you. Look closer. Pay attention. That ordinary person beside you might be the most extraordinary person you'll ever meet. Have you ever discovered that someone ordinary was actually incredible? Share their story in the comments and tell us what city you're watching from. Subscribe to Human Stories for more tales of hidden courage, silent heroism, and the remarkable people living unremarkable-seeming lives all around us. Remember, heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they just wear aprons.